Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to show you a boss fight I had with the Apex tank using an unranked Cyte 09. And let me tell you, this is one of the most difficult things I ever did in this game. I am going to show you the build at the end, also the build for the weapons, because for this boss fight the weapons are what really carry you through this. Not the warframes, not the abilities, it's the weapons. And as you can see, I have equipped Okina Prime Incarnon. I also have a Lex Incarnon, which is going to be useful for the second phase of this boss. And I have the Latron Incarnon, which will be useful for the first phase. It's a all Incarnon setup, of course. This is going to be a very intensive boss fight, which will have a lot of high level requirements, such as fully built Incarnons and some high level mods. Well, not really, but a couple of them are really essential to this. One of these is Pressure Footed, even though it's a mod that has a steep requirement, is a mod that is essential to this boss fight, because one of the biggest problems you can have is going to be not on your ass, and that will not proc an invincibility phase on your part, but will just let you just take the full brunt of damage from the boss fight. However, let me talk a bit about the requirements for the super boss fight. You need to grab, as you saw, a transmitter, and then you need to up these terminals. There are two of them, one before each barricade, and they are not indicated on the minimap. So you need to look for them. You can recognize them by the red flower, and they should be around the area where you need to shoot the RPG. So you don't need to look very far for them. Anyway, I hacked the first terminal, then I'm going to the one which we need to spawn the RPG enemies, and then I'm going to charge my Incarnon, going for headshots. I apologize for my aim. I play on console. I do not have good aim, but if anything, that should give you confidence that you can do this boss fight if you want to. Also, as I said, I am using an Unranked Warframe. This is mostly because of laziness, since I just finished building Cyte and I wanted to do the accolade for him. So that means I do not have any potatoes installed on Cyte, and of course you can see I am level 9. It is not fully unranked. I gained some experience from a previous attempt of this boss fight, but is as close as you can get. So now I'm waiting for the enemies to spawn. Unfortunately, there is this problem in this mission that the enemies are very slow to catch up to you, and they do not drop the transmitters, the transponders, sorry, fast enough. So you're going to be stuck here quite a while killing them, and I am taking the opportunity to charge the Incarnons. As you can see, the Lex Prime, as I said, is very important to have fully charged, because it is essential in the second part of the boss fight. While the Latron is not essential to have fully charged, since we are using the Latron mainly for the 5th evolution of the armor strip, which is going to make the first phase of the boss fight much quicker, and you're going to see how. Then I'm in the second part of the barricade, but I did not go to look for the terminal. I'm going to, I believe, do it as soon as I found another transponder. Okay, I have the RPG. It's gonna take always 2 RPGs for the second barricade and 1 for the first. For the first you cannot miss any shots, and for the second you can miss just 1. And I don't know if you noticed, but I am receiving a lot of damage, and so I'm using evade to survive for a bit, but in this part of the mission you can respawn. It is not like in a boss fight where if you die you are dead for good, so do not worry for that. Also, I am using the Okina Prime with the melee influence arcane, so that is why I'm dealing damage with enemies far away. And a quick tip, use the drifter in void mode when you are hacking the terminals, so you will not be knocked back by the enemies or shot while you are hacking. If you fail the hacking, you can always retry it with the same transponder. It does not seem to consume it. As you saw, I swapped weapon to drop the transponder, then I switched to the drifter, and then I went into void mode. This is the safest way to do it. We are almost at the boss fight now. There we go, another RPG enemy here. If you shoot at the parachute, he will drop down, and if he is high enough, he will die on impact. So, last RPG shot. Here I'm trying to summon not the Warframe, I'm summoning the Railjet crew, because if you summon it before entering the boss fight, he will enter, but he is not going to be very much helpful. So, starting off, you want to stay on the ground, stay on the air for as long as possible. Treat the floor like it's lava. So try to stay as high as possible and aim at the weak points of the tank. Then he is going to drop 2 enemies with RPGs. Focus on one. Grab the RPG. Since you already shot the Latron to the tank, he will not have any armor. And as you saw, it took only 2 shots of the RPGs to bring it down to half health. And with the last shot of the RPG, I took down the enemy. Then we are again here shooting at the weak points. It's 4 on the sides and 4 on the top. You see the health of the Apex is white because I set it that way. White means that it's red health. So now it's fully armor stripped and it's going to take 2 more rockets. And this is first phase. It took around a minute or so, but believe me, this can go very wrong very quickly. The green puddles you see on the floor, they will proc a magnetize effect on you, and sometimes they will also deal damage. So if the RPG spawns on top of the green puddle, you should use rolling guard, otherwise you're going to be downed. Here I'm using the Lex Prime Incarnon. No, I am using the Latron by mistake, and now I'm going to switch, I believe. Oh yes, I am stripping the armor of the tank now. As you see, he has gray health, that's the armor color I put, and now he's fully stripped. Now I'm going to switch to the Lex and I'm going to shoot the weak points. The weak points are the green growths he has around him, and they are essential to hit, because otherwise the tank will not take damage at all. Or should I say, he will take some damage, but not enough. Here I shot enough weak points to proc the first phase, and enemies are going to go to him in order to heal him. I try to shoot them with the Latron Prime Incarnon form, but it does not do a good enough job to kill all the enemies, so he's going to regain health. But I don't think that it is a big problem since the Lex is that powerful. Now, the good thing about the Lex is the punch through it has on the secondary in the Incarnon form, because it is a wide bullet, and if you aim it good enough, it can hit all the points of the tank, all his body. That is why what you should do is locate where the general area of the weak points are. They are going to change every time you destroy them. They are going to change position, every time you destroy them. Aim at the general area and also try to hit other parts of the tank. Now that I exhausted the Incarnon form, I am again shooting at the weak points because they charge the Incarnon form, and I activate it even when it's not fully charged, because every damage from the Lex, it's gold in this phase. As you can see, I'm doing a lot of damage. I always jumping around and never staying on the floor. In the first phase particularly, but also here is going to be helpful because you have enemies around that are going to go to you. And this is the second part of the healing phase. Again, I am not going to stress a lot about how much he is going to heal. As you saw, he healed one full bar and a little bit, but it's alright. One thing you need to keep in mind that it is mandatory that he is going to summon some pylons, I don't know, some pillars that are going to shoot at you, and they need to go down. It is not optional, because they will make this boss fight such a mess, and I am already going to I'm already have a lot of stuff on screen, from boss attacks, enemies, Eximus units, and you do not need those pillars up. He does not summon many of them. In this particular boss fight, I think around 2, you're going to see them when they appear, but other times he summoned like 4 and 5, and I repeat, those are a priority in this case. I'm again trying to find some weak spot, but of course my aim is as much as you can expect from a console player. But I charged a bit of the Incarnon, so I switch forms and I shoot him again. You need to take out every last bit of damage you can deal to this boss. As soon as the boss fight ends, the better. Yeah, unfortunately I do not have a clear strategy for the mobs you see around, so I just try to evade them by jumping around and never staying on the ground. Also, repeat, look for the weak points, charge the Incarnon as much as possible, switch to the Incarnon form of the Lex, and then you see how much damage I'm doing to him. Alright, boss fight over. I believe, you can see the pillars here. I believe he summoned them later in the boss fight, so you do not see them, but those need to go as fast as possible. They become the first big priority when you are dealing with this boss, because they shoot homing projectiles at you, and I believe they also proc the magnetic nullifying effect. I did not use Cyte abilities at all during the boss fight. It's a constant in this super boss fight, because you cannot use the abilities of the Warframe to almost do anything. You're relying on shield gating invulnerability. And that was pretty quick, one of my best attempts, and it was 12 minutes and 38 seconds. Yeah, I hope it was helpful. I hope you understood something from all this mess you've seen. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Take care now.